Josie's on a vacation far away. Come around and talk it over. So many things that I wanna say. You know I like my girls a little bit older. I just wanna use your love tonight. I don't wanna lose your love tonight.
Hey baseball fans, this is JJR Sports Talk Podcast. We're here again with a special Reddit question edition, episode 4. And we're going to basically focus on what you guys brought to the table when we asked what are the big questions you have. So we're gonna set the table here with stats. Some of the more new, obscure stats that you see out there. And I mean, there's some more legitimate ones that people like wins above replacement and whip, I think, is a good stat. But there's some more obscure stuff, too, that seems kind of strange at times. I mean, Brett, what do you think about that? What do you think about some of these new stats?
Well, baseball is the kind of game that uses numbers. It's probably why a lot of people nerd out about baseball, like me and my friends Joe and John. We love baseball. We love how you can compare numbers between guys playing in AAA and why they need to be brought up because they're doing yada, yada, yada on base percentage. And it's just really fun to look at projections that way. And also, I'd like to point out that a lot of the stats are created by baseball agents. It's a true story.
Oh, they're already about the money.
Agents?
It's all about the money,
creating
man.
stats.
They're creating stats to
Tell
get
me
their
about
guys
it.
paid.
Is that a conspiracy theory or is that a real thing?
That is an accepted theory by many people, yes.
Conspiracy.
If I heard it on national television, then it's an accepted theory.
Do you believe everything you hear on Fox News?
No, it wasn't Fox News. That's not real
Oh, it's
TV.
ESPN. Oh, I believe everything.
We
they
don't
say.
mention the 4-letter network. This is JJR.
Oh,
Sports
we don't mention
Podcast.
that.
do we get copyright or what?
No, they're just they're the enemy. They're everything we're not.
Fact checkers, accurate,
Yeah.
robotic a little bit,
Yeah,
maybe. I don't
they
know.
get paid.
Sources, quote
They
unquote.
maybe don't drink beer on the job. I don't know. That's their problem, not mine.
Jobs.
I don't have that
they,
hang
they
up.
have jobs.
They have
I'm just kidding. They don't have
jobs.
jobs.
I've arguably got a job.
But okay.
So
Thinking about
stats.
think about these stats though. Just looking at some of like the sabermetric stuff.
Talk to me about OPS.
No, okay. OPS is on base plus slugging. I know what that is.
What is
That's
slugging?
that's an
You
important
don't know
stat,
it's-
though.
I honestly don't know what's slugging. I don't know how it's calculated.
Just honestly, the greatest thing on for every baseball nerd on the planet is actually Wikipedia. Because when back in my early days when I didn't know what OPS was or slugging was, I typed into Wikipedia and was
Power of a hitter, and man, is it complicated stat.
it's not okay when you think about it.
It's basically a formulaic equation.
It's not that complicated. If you know anything about baseball, it's not that complicated.
I mean, it factors how much power they have. How far are you hitting singles, doubles?
Yeah.
I mean, they're weighed against basically
it's-
bases.
it's
How many
basically-
bases are you touching?
How many bases are you touching in one at bat?
Basically. And then
Versus how many at bats you have.
Yeah.
versus basic math.
Which is
Yeah.
a good stat.
That's a good
I
stat.
think most people actually prefer slugging to a lot
Batting
of stats.
average.
Actually.
well, okay,
and-
my favorite
it's valuable.
my favorite stat for a batter is actually on base percentage.
Yeah.
On base percentage plus slugging
That's why you like
percentage.
Joey Votto more than I like Ryan Braun.
Maybe, but I love OPS because it takes into account on base percentage plus slugging percentage. Weird. It's called OPS.
It's a really good stat. I
It's-
like it a lot. OPS
it's-
is really good.
It's one of those
But there
good
are way
stats you
more
find.
bizarre stats than that.
But
you know
okay, no.
what I'm talking about.
Why I wrote down OPS is I don't know if you noticed that is because I don't know what OPS plus is. What
Actually,
does
I haven't
that
gotten
mean?
that deep.
What
I don't know
what
that
does
much.
that mean? I don't know what that means.
Look, I know when I was a good baseball player and I see him play, I go, that guy's a good baseball player, because I've watched enough baseball to know. I don't need OPS
The eye
plus.
test?
I don't need OPS plus to tell
Are
me.
we
who's a good-
old men sitting in the stands just?
I believe in the eye test. People
Okay,
did that
okay.
for so.
This is
how
really
long?
this is where it gets a little too deep for me. I think it's valuable for like the Oakland Athletics. On base plus slugging plus OPS plus. It factors in like what park you're in. Stuff like that, which is pretty cool.
It is
well,
it is cool, but I mean, it's always going to be like.
But it's starting to get more.
It's-
I mean, that's more than your average baseball fan needs. And when you get to some of this stuff, there was a comment we had where it's like, okay, this guy hits this in this park at this time against this pitcher, and I mean you start getting
Before
into
3
like
p.m.
I don't know. It's strange.
Time
and
of day, wind.
Time of day.
What's the
and,
wind looking like?
Between 1937 and 1992, players with brown eyes against this pitcher in this park drove in, 3-4 different times. It's in September. It's you should be proud of that accomplishment. That was basically a comment. Tried to summarize best
That's
I
some
could.
good company. That guy's in a lot of good company.
Yeah, a lot of good company. You know who else did that? Yogi Berra did that once.
Yeah, Yogi
September
Berra.
19 whatever. And it's that's ridiculous. I don't really like that. I think those are dumb stats. I don't value them a lot.
I'm on Fangraphs.com right now.
Brett, I mean, what do you think about some of those more obscure stats that you get like that are so specific?
There are some very specific stats, which is a clear exaggeration. But then there's guys like Vin Scully who like to point out, oh, well, he just stole his 30th base this season, and he joins an elite club of members of the particular team he's played for who have done that 3 straight seasons. That's something that I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. It doesn't make me think. I'm just saying, I like the way that we go back and we look at the stats, because how much can you talk about baseball play by play before we're just like, hey man, I know what happened, I just saw it. I want you to tell me something interesting. You're trying to entertain me. This is weird. This is an entertainment. This is what sports is.
So some of these specific stats that maybe they're trying to give the player a little bit of credit, but you're entertained by it, so you think it's valuable. I don't know who digs that crap up. Where they're coming from. I mean,
well, I don't know
interns.
if you've ever seen
interns and agents.
Interns and agents. Conspiracy.
That's what you've got.
Correct.
These stats, interns trying to get a job, agents trying to get their player paid, and
statisticians.
That's where these stats come from. And, guys like, who Jonah Hill played in Moneyball. I don't know. Harvard grads who don't know anything about baseball besides digging into these stats and coming up with them. Numbers. And it's interesting. I think that someone gets too deep. But out of this, you've gotten some really quality stats. I mean, you say Quality Start was created by an agent?
I'm so sure that Quality Start was a statistic created by an agent, because there was probably some guy who was getting underpaid who had a lot of quality starts but didn't get the wins or the ERA that he needed to get over the hump of that $1 million mark, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's the kind of thing that an agent should, if he was doing his job right, would be creating those stats.
Because
would be pushing those stats.
He's putting your team in a position to win with this quality start versus wins.
I'm not saying quality starts is a bad stat. I'm just saying that it probably wasn't thought of by a coach or an owner.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on Fangraphs.com, and there are a lot of stats that I deem very, very useful. Okay. Well, you got on-base percentage, you got OPS, what we talked about earlier. Okay, how about batting average of balls in play?
I like that play. I like that because it kind of makes you see what a player is a little bit before. I don't know how I can calculate their value, but I know that it's interesting to look at.
It's also, it also determines it doesn't really determine how lucky a hitter was that year, but if it's above or below an average, you can kind of determine how good they're going to be the following year. If Billy Butler last year's, this is just an example I'm pulling out of my butt.
It's like a slump year.
They
just had bad luck.
If he had a slump and he hit, his batting average of balls in play was 245 whatever before the All-Star break, and then after the All-Star break it was 355, and that matters. There's a lot of stats that make a lot of sense when you're looking at a hitter or a pitcher that you want to see. Line drive rate, home runs per fly ball. Do you think that matters?
Well,
home runs per fly ball?
It depends. I'm not sure what you consider a fly ball. I mean, pop-out's a fly ball. I mean, do they consider that? That's something I really don't know. Maybe I could do a little bit more research on that. That's interesting. I like interesting stuff.
Okay,
if it interests me enough, I'll look into it.
Okay, I like this. Mildly interests me. How about first pitch strike percentage?
First pitch strike percentage.
I like that.
Now that's a huge stat.
That is huge.
Now something that MLB The Show has taught me when I played is that
you have
the
to
difference,
as anything.
The difference between a 1-0 count and an 0-1 count, and then you look at batting average, is huge. So that first pitch strike, that's a valuable stat. Can this guy get ahead? You don't want to be behind. So I mean that's another more fringe stat that's not popularly accepted, but it's valuable.
I think the thing about the first pitch strike stat, yes, that's good, but is it though? I mean, sometimes guys get in trouble with throwing that first pitch for a strike.
Well, I mean,
because if you do it enough times, the guy's just going to be like, well, I'll frickin' swing at the first pitch.
he's going to throw me a strike, but I mean, it's
Okay, I just saw like a ridiculous one. Okay, it's called Sierra, which is Skill Interactive ERA. I do not know what that means. What Sierra? SIERA.
Is that it probably factors in the defensive people behind him and their D-WAR.
How do you even? That's so.
I mean,
Well,
it doesn't give a description or anything.
Go-
But it's just like what?
Go create a rocket or something. Get out of baseball. What are you doing coming up with that stat?
No, that might be. It might be. If you looked into it, it might change.
Go work for
it might
NASA
change the way
and
you
stop doing
think.
that.
If you made that setup, it must have some sort of reason.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting. I think that some of these are silly. Some of them are too deep. Players, but do we need all those stats? My idea is no.
No.
And
I'm an eye test guy, so I like hearing interesting stuff, but it's not going to change how I feel about a guy. Really.
Yeah, good baseball makeup. I don't know.
I love half of sabermetrics.
No, when
I love
half
half of it.
When you want to talk about this, and I wish I looked these up. Maybe I'll try to quick do it. Francisco Liriano. This is a guy who, when you talk about the Pirates and their success coming up this next year, they're going to rely on him. He was their ace. He pitched lights out. And for a time in Minnesota a few years ago, obviously he was their ace. Then he hit some hard times. He got hurt. And he stunk it up a little bit. He pitched his way out of Minnesota, I'll say that much. And,
he didn't pitch his way out of. He
got traded to the White Sox. And then he didn't do very
pitched
well.
so poorly they traded him, is what I'm saying.
He did pretty bad for the White Sox, too.
He was.
And then the Pirates picked him up on what would be considered
now, is this
steal.
a guy?
A steal. They stole him. They got him for very little money.
Is this a guy where maybe they were looking at some of those obscure stats and they saw that maybe he just had the ball bounce the wrong way?
Well, there's no way I can know what his obscure stats are right in front of me, but I can tell you that the Pirates saw something in him that nobody else did because they were offering him the money, and it worked out. And I'm pretty sure no one in the front office of the Pirates was like called it. Like, who was going to call that he was going to be like in the discussion for Cy Young in August?
No way.
Nobody knew that was going to happen.
I mean,
not even Francisco Liriano could have predicted that. So let's not say they're geniuses. But they did get lucky.
I feel like
they probably put in some work to figure out what he could do.
Go ahead, Joe, with those stats.
Three out of the previous past 4 years, he had an ERA over 5.
Whoa.
Yeah, really bad. That's really bad.
That's bad.
And he finds his way to Pittsburgh, and all of a sudden he has a 3.02 ERA. I mean, how do you even factor that?
3.02.
I mean, he's more years than not, his ERA's been over 5.
He was their best pitcher
in his
last
career.
year.
Absolutely.
I mean, how can you even guess that?
I mean, if I were to tell you before,
do you think he can do that back to back, knowing that he hits over 5 ERA most years out of his career?
He most obviously cannot pitch 3.02 ERA for a full season.
He can't be your ace. You can't rely on him as your workhorse.
But you don't really need someone to pitch a 3.02 to be an ace, because that's just nuts. That's nuts.
Well, he's gonna find home again and is closer to 5. I mean, 4.8 is that fair? Above 4.5 ERA.
He's not going to go that high.
You don't think he's going to? I think he could.
That's a below average
I would
pitcher.
bet on that. I would.
Okay.
You would bet on that,
Brett,
Joe.
I would bet on that.
You would bet me $5 that he is going to have an ERA lower than 4.8.
I would bet you a night out that he's going to have an ERA above 4.8. Well,
that is a deal.
4.5. You said 4.8. I meant 4.5.
4.7.
That's fair. 4.5.
4.6.
You said 4.8.
Because you said 4.8.
Hold on.
Oh, you started with 4.8.
All right, well, I'm backing up on a night out of drinking. I'd put $5 on 4.8, and I would put a night out on 4.5.
Easy, Mad Dog. Easy, Mad Dog.
4.
As the arbiter of this discussion, 3.65. Or not
4.65.
4.65. Boom.
All right, deal. Night out.
Liriano, let me tell you something.
I'm drinking rail, you're drinking beer.
You lost Burnett. You essentially lost Liriano pitching that way.
Burnett does not affect Liriano. That's what the starting pitching argument is. It's like you can just do whatever you got to do.
I just don't think he's going to have it.
Okay.
Let's move on. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I put my money where my mouth is.
4.65 is pretty high.
I know Rummy's the man who can pound him back.
4.65 is pretty high.
I wanted to do 4.5. You guys muscled me into it.
Okay.
But you know what?
Well, okay.
He's that bad.
He is okay, Joe.
In my opinion, Liriano's that bad. Pirates fans, you can just... He's going to drink for all of you on me if this guy puts together...
Oh, all of us?
No, well...
Okay,
Brett,
no,
on
it's
behalf,
all of us now.
You're not a Pirates fan. You're not a Pirates
fan.
On behalf of all Pirates fans...
If I get to drink for
this
free
man's
for a
going to
night.
drink on my dime on behalf of all Pirates fans if this guy puts together anything other than a crap show. Because I don't think he's that good. And when you talk about the pitching, I want to move over, though. The Pirates hitting. Something that came up. McCutchen. He's going to hit 300. Is there anyone else on that team that can do it?
Probably not.
Brett.
Brett?
If anyone's going to hit 300, it's going to be Starling Marte. He
Remzo?
hit 280 last year, so it's a jump. It's not out of the question.
Marte, he's a guy who hit 280, and wasn't that his rookie year last year?
No, it's his second year.
Whoa,
Second year.
guys.
Was it his
Come
first
on.
year
Are we
starting?
counting out Pedro Alvarez or
Yes.
what?
His on-base percentage.
May or may not be.
Hey, I've got another night of drinking about Pedro Alvarez over-under on his strikeouts.
I will take no such bets on strikeouts.
Over under 320.
No. I think
I take the over.
I think
I take the over.
it's going to be Marte if anybody. If anybody else does it, I guess Neil Walker's really outside chance.
280.
Who else could? I mean, there's really no one else.
No,
There's no one else.
I cannot.
There's no one else.
Starling Marte's got to... No, where's he going to hit in your lineup?
Do you think Russell Martin can just like jump up and just hit a
No,
300 year?
he's 250 at best.
He's okay.
That's something
260 at
that
best.
that's something that
But
caught
you,
my
I
eye.
mean, you never know.
I was at a Brewers Pirates game at Miller last year, a little bit later in the season. I mean, the Pirates were already bona fide contenders, and I looked at your lineup and I looked at their batting averages, and I was shocked that you had the win record that you did. Did you ride pitching last year?
Absolutely.
I mean, can the hitting
our
step
starting
up?
pitching and bullpen were ranked so high last year. Our offense was bad, honestly. I mean, well, they weren't bad, but they weren't good.
It's reasonable to expect the pitching to take a step back. Do you think there are guys along with Marte who can take a step forward to fill that gap?
The only people that are going to be able to step forward for the Pirates that are starting right now are McCutchen himself. He's only getting better. That's the truth.
You need him to do more. You need him to put the team on his back.
Well, he
Put
won
the
the
team
MVP
on
last
his
year.
back.
Those dreads are only getting longer, bro.
Yeah, and grayer.
Yeah.
No, he's not old at all.
Yeah.
I think if anybody else
He
is going to
dies.
step... If
You can tell he dies.
I don't know. I don't know. What if he does? What about it, bro?
I don't know. I think
He
I don't
hides
know.
it very well.
Like I said, you obviously lost Burnett, Liriano. You know my opinion on him. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. We'll see how they do. We're going to move on to the other team that's contending, and that's the Cardinals. We're going to talk about their pitching, too, because you talk about Liriano taking a step back. Then you've got guys like Waka and Shelby Miller, Michael Waka and Shelby Miller. You know, they're relying on some young talent to bring them back. And you can talk about they have some postseason history, but 1 year of it because these guys are so young. Are they going to regress?
Well,
Is it-
Shelby Miller didn't even really pitch in the postseason last
No,
year.
he didn't. Well, the thing about the Cardinals pitching is, yeah, they're great. And, yeah, those two guys specifically, they're probably not going to be that good.
No?
Okay.
Year in and year out. That would be
No,
Hall of Fame.
okay.
That would
Waka
that
had
would
a 2.78 ERA. You just
Whoa.
talked about... Whoa. You just talked about how good Liriano's 3.05 is. Waka did 2.78, man.
yeah, not over a full season, though.
Not over full season.
No,
So what I'm saying is these guys are if he had those kind of numbers every year, he'd be a full first ballot Hall of Famer. So of course he's going to take a step back. He's not like Superman.
You want to hear about his postseason stats? Good lord, I didn't know this.
No, Michael Waka had
I didn't know
he
this.
did. No, he did.
freaking standing.
Killed the
Oh my-
Pirates.
He had
Absolutely amazing postseason.
He had a 1.23 ERA against Pittsburgh. He got you guys on 9 strikeouts and he went 7.1.
You guys.
Against the Dodgers, he had an ERA of 0 with a nice little 13 strikeout number.
That's
Man,
No,
man.
that-
and,
no,
that's,
okay.
we're not, and that's not.
And
the
it's
Dodgers,
easy to step back from that.
The Dodgers are. That's a good offense though. For real though, that's a good offense.
That's a
To
good
be getting
offense that he
13
blanked.
Ks.
He blanked him.
He's good.
No, that's
he's not
the-
going to do that again though.
No,
Just won't.
to me, that's the sign that he is very poised and that he can do it.
Poised? You're going to throw
Poised.
poised at me right now, John?
Poised.
Open
Poised.
another beer.
But 2.7.
Talk about poised.
Get out of here.
Poised.
Get out of
That's
here.
so- I don't
2.7. Get out of here.
Well, no, okay.
Over under
okay.
ERA for Michael Waka. What do you think? 3.00 over under.
All over.
Over.
Over? You're going to take the over?
Over.
I think he's shown me a lot.
Drinks on Joe if it's under 3.
All right, hey.
Hey, I'm holding out my hand right now, Joe. Just shake it.
How about this? Drinks on me if the Cardinals lose 100, because that's what I want. I'm not trying to bolster them any.
Oh, okay.
I like Milwaukee.
I'm pretty sure all the Cardinals are listening to this, and they're putting it on their bulletin board. That
Okay.
Joe, that guy.
Michael, okay, what was Michael Walker's ERA last year?
2.7.
It was.
In how many? He didn't. In how many games?
2.78 over 64 innings, which is about a third of a season, I guess.
Okay, 2.78 over a third of a season. Over under 3.8.
3.3.
I'd give him under 3.8.
Under 3.8.
Because, like you said, he is poised to be a great pitcher.
3.5.
I'm sorry if I get excitable, guys.
3.5?
I don't know if it'll be too loud.
No, you better get excited. This is baseball.
Baseball.
I think that 3.8 is too high. If you're gonna give me an over under on this guy, it's gonna be 3.4, and I'm gonna still pick the under.
I'll take the over.
I'll take the over.
You take the over. All right,
I wouldn't bet
then
on
we can
it,
do
no.
that.
Boom.
64 innings is
Now,
too
you
much.
guys are trying
too
to take
small
me
of a
for a
sample
ride.
size for me to be like.
It's a small
putting money
sample
on the
size.
table.
This guy showed me enough to really believe, and I don't know.
Well, what about Shelby Miller here?
Shelby Miller.
I don't know.
as much about.
He's obviously the second fiddle to Michael Wacha. The thing about the Cardinals that people don't realize is they actually have starting pitchers. They're like running
out there.
8 deep.
Well, I mean, we're also
not.
not even talking about Lance Lynn.
Lance Lynn, who's
Lance Lynn
another
had
guy who showed
he had a bad year last year compared to.
But
He had the year that we're
before
talking
then.
about Michael Wacha and Shelby
Yeah,
Miller
and then
maybe having.
in
Because
2012.
when Lance Lynn showed up
what
on the
was
scene,
Lance
he did
Lynn's
great.
numbers last year? It really was not that great.
When he
Lance
showed
Lynn
up
did
on the
not-
scene, he did.
I mean, look, Lance Lynn's no bum. It's just that
I would
he
like to have
obviously
Lance
took a
Lynn.
step back. It's an obvious.
Would you or would you not like to have Lance Lynn on your team?
Of course you would.
I'll take him.
Yes.
Now, Lance Lynn, when you talk about a step back, you're still talking about a 3.97 ERA,
That's above
which is
average.
a little bit of a step back. You're talking about he had 3.78 before that, 3.12 in 2011 when they won the World Series at the expense of our Brewers. So he maybe pitched over his head. That was only 34 innings in 2011 when he had those great numbers. So that maybe, that's kind of close to Wacha. So you could maybe see Wacha ending up close to this 3.7,
3.97.
3.97
I mean, it's respectable,
sort of.
but he took a step back, right?
Yeah, and you can see that
Okay,
on Wacha.
he took a
Players,
step
they'll
back.
figure you out.
He didn't take like a huge.
He's still good.
No, he didn't
He's
take
still
a
Don't put him on the hill.
No, he's great.
I mean, he's
take him
not
on my
throwing
team.
meatballs out there.
Okay,
He's-
But I think he had a pretty bad first half. Nah, he
I couldn't
came
tell you.
back.
But, okay.
No, Lanson's a good player. He's a
Okay,
good player.
when you talk about the Cardinals pitching staff, we're talking about the fourth guy. We're talking about the fifth guy.
I wish these
important.
guys were.
It's important.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, but I mean that's if we're talking about the Brewers. If we're talking about
I've had enough of the Cardinals.
look,
That's
I
what
know the
I'm ready
Cardinals-
to
No, but I
I know-
mean the Cardinals. They know what they're doing. They are absolutely ridiculous. You talk Adam Wainwright. You talk about Shelby Miller. You talk about
I talk
Lance
about-
Lynn. Then you go.
I talk about
Michael
these
Wacha,
guys
and it's just
regressing
like,
and taking
oh,
a step
my
the
goodness
wrong
gracious.
Wainwright,
directions.
man.
I
They're
know.
so young. You can't say that they're going to put together a career that
No,
reflects these
you
numbers.
can't. But
I give them the benefit of the doubt, but I just have a hard
can't-
time believing that they're going to be able to put up the same numbers.
I don't know that I believe that they're going to be as good of a team as everyone thinks they're going to be.
I'm slipping on them a little bit, and I think it has a lot to do with me not having much faith in their second baseman situation with Ellis and
Colton Wong.
Colton Wong.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really. I know Mark Ellis is old, and
Okay.
if he's old
He
and
could
not
start.
that good, and he's going to beat out this guy, I can't have that much faith in this other
Yeah.
guy. I really
Well,
can't.
I mean, I'm not. As long as this Colton Wong guy that we don't really know much about, other than that his name is
Well,
Colton.
they feel comfortable creating a position for him.
Exactly.
So they have to
Don't
have
you
some
think
sort
the
of faith
Cardinals
in
know
him.
what they're doing? You like
No.
I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
not at all.
I don't know enough about
11
Colton Wong to say.
championships. No.
I'm
No,
going to pay
I
attention
won't.
to it. But, I mean, you talk about feeling confident enough to create an opening for him, and we'll go to the Reds, and they let Shin-Soo Choo go to create a spot for Billy Hamilton, who
Good segue,
everybody
Joe.
knows
Good
is...
segue. That was good.
I
like that.
I work on them. You know, I usually do a segue, and somebody just goes, whoa, that was too smooth. I want to make sure everybody knows we're changing gears.
Oh.
I try the smooth segues. I really do.
That was very
no,
law and
no,
order
no,
of
no.
you.
Yeah.
Dun,
Dun,
dun.
dun, dun.
Dun dun. But it was segue to Billy Hamilton.
Billy Hamilton.
Everyone knows this kid's got wheels. The
But
kid's got wheels.
can he get on base?
Can he get on base?
His on base.
Do you have the faith?
Joe, with your electronic device, can you look up Billy Hamilton's on-base percentage?
I've been having trouble pulling up just on a flip their minor league numbers. I'm trying to find those.
We are big proprietors here of
Fact checking.
Baseball Reference.
Baseballreference.com?
It's an elite.
Even-
It's an elite website. Honestly,
It's
it's got
really
everything
nice.
you need
Because
to
it's
do.
the only thing that they do.
It's all actually that's not true. They actually have that's like a sub of their. They have NFL, hockey, every sport they have.
Well, they
reference.
have. Well, I mean, they only
This is
have-
one of their
they have
subs.
Stats. They have stats for everybody.
Oh, they only do stats. Yes.
Billy Hamilton in the minors, he can hit between 250 and 300. He kind of swings here and there. He steals bases. Kid's got wheels. I don't know. Over 100 last year. Can
Yes.
I tell you about something?
No, it is absolutely ridiculous.
Over under 60 stolen bases this year.
Not that I'm gonna be a downer here, but
Oh.
everybody knows that Billy Hamilton can run.
Okay, what was his on-base percentage?
On base percentage, 308.
That's not good.
406 the year before that, but that was double
For
A
a
versus
rookie?
triple A. That was triple A.
308?
That was
For a rookie?
triple A. That was triple A.
308. That's
a
not
rookie.
a good on-base percentage.
I don't think
By the
this
way,
kid-
for a rookie, how old is this guy? He's not even actually that young.
okay,
He's been playing the
okay,
minors for just a little bit.
Shinsu-
But
23.
he's 23, so he's not a late bloomer, but
Do
he's
me a
not
favor.
exactly.
Okay, I guess I can do it too. Shinsu Chu was a top 5 on-base percentage person.
Let me tell you this right now, John. Shin-Soo Choo gets on base more than Billy Hamilton, but Shin-Soo Choo also stays on first base.
Say that 10 times fast.
I cannot. I've had way too many drinks.
Alcoholic beverages.
Apple juices.
I've
I've had way too much apple juice today. to be
He's got a
talking
son.
about.
He's got a son and he
I'm a
drinks
dad.
apple juice.
Okay, I can't be speaking all fast and what have. You know.
Okay.
What have you?
On base percentage, I mean, Shin-Soo Choo last year was 423.
423.
That's a
That's
significant
elite.
dip.
You go from 423 to 308
That you're
against
gonna
the
notice that.
minors?
Okay,
Against
but
the minors.
put it this way.
I'm not sold.
That's where Shin-Soo Choo tops out. Billy Hamilton's still a big old.
You're talking
Okay,
about ceiling.
okay,
He's a big old question
okay,
mark.
that's
and you
fine.
know what a question mark is? It's an exclamation point on the worst day of its life.
But
Okay?
seriously,
I don't like question
But
marks.
seriously though, when Shin-Soo Choo gets on first, 423
423.
times out of 1,000. That's awesome. Billy Hamilton gets on
First, second,
300
third.
times.
Is this
out
kid
of
going to
a-
steal
out of a-
Then he
home?
probably
Then he steals second base. So would you rather have a guy on first base 460 times out of
Shin-Soo
1,000,
was-
or a guy on second base?
What is
300
What is Shinsu Chu's stolen bases? Did he steal 20?
No, he
last year?
did steal some bases.
Shin-Soo Choo
20?
stolen base. He stole 20. He's a 20.
stole 20.
He's a 2020 guy.
2020.
Shinsu Chu is a 2020 guy.
Look, you don't have to convince
I
me
like
how
that
awesome
player.
Shin-Soo Choo is.
There's a reason he got paid.
But I will argue that Billy Hamilton, if he can get on base for his 30, can do very well.
Oh, okay, Brett. Yeah.
I don't know. I think that Billy Hamilton's a kid who you're gonna start out. There's gonna be a transition period, and this is a reason to doubt the Reds because you can say they played under their talent level last year. They still won 90 games, but you lose Chu to Hamilton. Hamilton's gonna have to take some time to figure it out before he's stealing those 60 bases, which he has the potential to do.
No, okay. I am confident that. Okay, we've talked about this. Me and Brett have talked about this before. Every time that Billy Hamilton gets on base, I'm licking my lips. Just just
know.
go.
Just know, and
It's Willie Mays Hayes from Major League. I'm just
Willie
going
Mays
go.
Hayes over there.
Go. Just as soon as he gets on base, I'm just go, man.
The difference between I think stolen bases are really undervalued because
It's gonna take time to figure it out. I don't know.
they're undervalued because you got to think about what is the pitcher thinking when he's on first base. He's a little rattled.
And that is valuable to the guy batting after Billy
It's
Hamilton.
extremely valuable.
So who bats second for the Reds?
Hopefully not Cozart.
Potentially Billy Hamilton's obviously a potential leadoff hitter. So by batting behind him, whoever's batting behind him is about to get better.
Yeah, they're about to get better. And you're making guys around you better. That's extremely valuable.
Whether it be RBIs
And that's what Billy
or
Hamilton
on base
does.
percentage.
Okay.
You might see Votto's RBIs finally.
I was
go
about to say, going back to Joey Votto, don't you think that this is going to very much increase his stats? Like you
I
have,
hope so.
you have a guy in Shin-Soo Choo who gets on base, and Joey Votto comes up to bat. Joey Votto takes a lot of walks.
So then you got a guy in first and second.
He knows that Chu's not he's not elite.
Crazy wheels.
He's not elite or anything like that. don't you think that they're going to be doing running or hit and runs just almost every time he's up?
I mean,
at
Joey
bat?
Votto is like the one guy in the league who hits third who I really feel comfortable with doing a hit and run with, because he doesn't even care. He's so good at situational baseball that he can just do what needs to be done at the very moment.
That's true. I mean, he's obviously a smart hitter, and he sees the baseball very well with all those walks that he takes. And Joey Votto, he sees the ball really well. And, with Votto having Hamilton in front of him on base, Hamilton's a guy who could score from first on most hits.
I mean,
if
Joey
who could
Votto
say,
hit a
does it
double?
even have to be a double?
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah,
I mean,
I think it has to be a
yes.
double.
I don't know.
Joe, yes.
I haven't seen the kid play, but 100+ stolen bases multiple years across the board.
Look, he's not.
I think
he's
he's
not,
a game
he's not
changer.
Flash, but he's very fast.
He's not Flash.
It's not Dwayne Wade?
I'm telling you right
I don't
now,
know.
he's very fast. But what you're talking about right now is a whole nother level.
Yeah, you know what else is very fast? The time it took for the Brewers and all their fans and organization to fall in love with a pup named Hank.
Segway!
Pup named Hank. Have you seen? He's on the sidebar of our NLCentral.
Hell yeah.
He's totes adorbs.
Totes adorbs, bro.
Wouldn't you agree? I mean, this dog. So a different Brewer
Totes
staffer.
Adorbs? Is that
That's the thing. That's what I said. I just said that. Just
I
let it
didn't
go.
say it, he did.
You said it after I said. I don't know.
I was making fun of you.
Julie's got me watching girls. Anyway,
On the internet?
no.
What does it?
All right. Hank, he participated. I don't know if you see him. He ran the sausage race. He's going home with a different Brewer staffer every night. Everybody loves him. They got him in the team store picking which pet bandana he likes better. This dog's
Conspiracy.
cute.
They're just trying to cover up Braun.
This dog's cute. And he's
Everybody
just
likes
straight
Hank.
pup who
You
ran.
cannot
Everybody likes Hank.
You cannot deny
Everybody
the love
loves
for
Hank. How cute
There was
is
a-
this? Is the
Seriously,
story you
conspiracy.
want.
There was some
Is this
agent
a
out
great-
there
Shut up about your
Who just let his
conspiracy.
dog
who found his
agent,
dog, who found
Braun's
his dog
agent,
on the market,
Ryan
on the
Braun's
black
agent.
market, the most adorable dog to cover up a mistake. It's like buying that. It's like when Kobe brought that diamond ring for his wife when he cheated on her, man.
Hey, baby, I'm
the
so
last
sorry.
time
I'm so sorry. Here's a $1 billion ring,
No, it was right.
bigger
It
than
was
your
right.
head.
Brewers fans, I'm so sorry. Here's just this
adorable dog. The next time I screw something up, a puppy might be involved.
All right, but
because
next
Hank is
time
a
we
game
want
changer.
Rose. Next time we want
Hank
Rose.
is a game changer.
No, that
this is a good story.
The video of the video.
Have you seen the video of him running the race?
Yes,
It's adorable.
No, it's the most adorable thing on the planet.
Have you
Seriously, come on, bro. How you gonna be that cute? Come on.
Can
Come on,
Hank
man.
just be around Miller Park, just like walking around Terrace Reserve seats? Can I meet Hank?
There should be a meet and greet that I
There
would
should be a
pay
Hank
for.
meet and greet. I would pay $10 to meet Hank.
You would not pay $10.
I would
I got that Hank limited edition rookie card with his
Yeah.
paw print.
He should get his own card. Would you
I
open
would-
up a pack
okay,
of ball
not gonna
cards
lie,
and get the
I-
Hank card?
If he does have his own baseball card, I will not be
No one
surprised.
has
Ernie
a
Brewer
problem
should
with
take
that.
him down the slide
Yeah.
every time there's a dinger.
Hank, tell you what, the Cubs should be taking notes. They should get rid of that stupid bear they got who doesn't wear pants. Got drawn with a dick 50 times. And they should find a dog like Hank to be
He
there.
cannot have Hank.
They can't
Hank's
have
ours.
Hank. Hank is the Brewers.
They're gonna have to get their
Cubs
own
stay
agent
back.
with their own supply of dogs.
Hold on. What I don't understand is how they found they
He just
they
wandered
quote
upon.
unquote found
They found him.
that
Wandered
is somebody's dog.
No.
He was a
They-
stray.
they
He was
put-
dirty.
They did the right thing.
He was dirty. He was
They
straight.
found him and I guess they
That dog
were
is
like,
so-
hey,
You think you're not gonna know about
reported
it?
missing dog. We found.
You think they're not gonna
And
know
since
about
no
it?
one has reclaimed him,
He's the Brewers dog now.
now he's the Brewers dog.
You think if that's your dog, you haven't
dog,
heard about him?
That dog is so friendly. It's so unbelievable. That is somebody's dog.
It's the best dog.
Which is why I think it's
our
a
dog
total
as
cover up
Brewers
for
fan.
Braun because no one's just losing a dog like that and not looking for it.
That adorable dog. Talking
one's-
about
no one's
Braun,
losing a dog like that.
there's not much to cover up for Braun. The guy, 65 game suspension. He comes back from the offseason. What does he do with the second pitch he sees?
Danger,
Bam!
left
Okay.
field.
Dinger. Left field
okay.
dinger. And
Okay.
this guy he's back and he's pissed.
He's back
think
and he's
he's pissed?
He's back and he's pissed, but I am still concerned about him playing in games. He's okay. It's gonna be July, August, and guess what? Braun gets a nagging wrist injury, a nagging hip injury.
and he's had nagging injuries.
Exactly. I don't doubt his talent at all. He
You know
is a talented mofo.
You know what I like?
But
yeah.
it's I agree that,
and he's 30 now.
It's not a stretch to think that he was taking all those steroids to stay on the field.
Well, I mean, it wasn't specifically steroids. It was
PEDs.
performance enhancing drug.
PEDs.
It's probably something I could go get at CVS. Honestly, I mean, I don't know about that.
That's
That's
the
a lot of
most Homer
synthetic
thing you've ever
testosterone. I don't know. I'm not. He didn't inject something into his butt and start looking like Barry Bonds. That's all I'm saying. And I don't know. I think he's back, and getting shouted at other parks and stuff. It's not like that wasn't already happening. He goes to. He said, "I go to Wrigley Field. You don't think I didn't already hear a lot of stuff? It's not. It's nothing new,
no.
and he can handle it.
Okay. Ryan Braun is going to play this entire year with the biggest
Chip on a
Frito-Lay
chip on his shoulder. He's going to be having his Frito-Lay chip. He's going to wear his Wrangler jeans. He's going to hit a dinger. Then he's going to go after the game and get a Subway sub. Can we just get all of our sponsors that we wish we had out of the way? We brought all those guys up podcast after podcast. Somebody pay me money to do this. We talk about Braun, and he's not going to have a problem. The problem we might have is first base. And you've got a few guys in there.
It's not a problem you might have. It's a problem you do have.
A problem we do have. You got Mark Reynolds, Lyle Overbay, Juan Francisco. What do you got?
The National League Central's worst position, first base. Joey Votto, great. Everyone else, terrible.
Anthony Rizzo.
I don't know about
bad.
Rizzo. Yeah.
I mean, if
Rizzo.
Cardinals, all right. They're all right. But
We'll
everybody
see.
else pretty
Matt
bad.
Adams.
Matt Adams says
I don't
okay.
know anything about Matt Adams in the full
Alan
season.
Craig can play first.
Yeah, they're okay.
base.
After that, so bad.
3 teams out of the
No,
5.
Juan Francisco, he's been on 3 teams in the last 6 years. He knows what we think of him. And, he went in our first spring training game. I kind of followed because, it's a very exciting time. He had a couple dingers. He got nice, but you can't just expect that.
For Juan Francisco, that's what he does. He gets 2 dingers, and then and then he waits a month, and then
he gets 2 more
he
dingers.
gets 2 more dingers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great for that one game. It's awesome. After that, terrible. Good thing there's 162 games in a season, right?
Yeah, so he can hit a total of like 20 dingers.
Yeah, 20 dingers all within 10 games.
Yeah, but he's got a shot. I would like to see him platoon with Mark Reynolds. Another nice thing that I see with Mark Reynolds being on the team is he played a lot of his career at third, so Ramos being an injury concern, or if we're somehow not there, we could obviously trade him.
Yeah.
You got a body at third base in Mark Reynolds if you need it.
Not a very good defensive body at first base or third base.
He's fine. He's serviceable.
I think Mark Reynolds only has a job because he hits.
He hits 20-plus home runs.
He strikes out 230 times a year.
I don't know about 230, maybe 190.
He strikes out at least 195 times a year.
He is really bad at the strikeouts. He's like league leading strikeout.
Yeah,
Yes.
he led the league.
Year in, year out.
There's a reason I wasn't very excited when we got him, but when you looked at the first base market this offseason, what else was there but him and Corey Hart? And I mean,
there were a couple. James Loney was a good option.
You had to trade for James Loney.
No,
what are you going to
He
give
was a
up?
free agent.
Was he tied to
James
a draft?
Loney?
No,
James Loney
not
was a
tied
free
to
agent.
draft. The Pirates were very close.
Is James Loney even signed?
He got signed by the Rays, 3 years, $21 million, which I think
is a good price.
Which I think
Yeah,
is
that's a good
okay
price.
because of the market being so thin. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gotten that.
Mark Reynolds.
Because really, James Loney has only had 2 quality seasons.
Honestly, let me tell you
Well,
something
2
about
quality
Mark Reynolds.
seasons, you hit free agency, that's what you get.
The last 3
$7
years,
million per season.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mark Reynolds' first 3 years compared to his last 3 years, he struck out 50 less times per year.
Yeah, he's also had less
Okay, what are
at-bats.
those? Okay, what are
Less
those
at-bats,
numbers?
so-
You're talking about from 204
from-
to 154. You're literally talking about from
But what
204
about
to
his at-bats,
154. His at-bats have remained consistent. He's going to the plate the same amount of times. He's hitting, 20-plus home runs. A couple years ago, he hit 37. You don't expect a lot out of him, but as a platoon player in a potentially 1 year, I'm hoping fill-in role,
Yeah, you're hoping.
he could be fine.
Okay, when they signed him, I wasn't mad about it.
You weren't mad about
I wasn't mad.
I don't think anybody could be mad because what were your options?
And your
What were your
production, I
options?
mean, we're
Big
not.
O.
Yeah, he's not going to make the team. I hope for your sake.
If we
He's
can
bad.
get,
He's bad.
if we can get 230 between Francisco and Reynolds, and I'm not counting Overbay. I think he's I don't know.
Odd man out.
If you can get 230 and 25 home runs out of first base between platoon, that's not bad. I can do that.
No, I can live with that 100%.
I think if you guys expect to to get into the playoffs, you're going to feel a little bit better.
I don't know. It's not like we have a prospect, but a team that does have prospects coming
No,
up.
you do have a first base
is
prospect.
Hunter Morris is not
Hunter
top.
Morris is your best hitting prospect.
He's
and
not-
it's not that good.
and
He's not
he's-
that good, but he is. If you're going to point
He's
to one
touted.
position,
He's touted lower than Matt Gamble and Laporta was. I don't want to talk about Hunter
okay,
Morris.
so what? Who cares? Like you said in the previous podcast,
You screwed up my segue. Can I talk about segues? Now you
Prospects are
screwed 'em up
exactly
every
that.
time.
Brett, I'm all about the segues. Joe,
You
go.
talk about
the
prospects.
Subway segue.
And the Subway segue, we're doing the prospects, and a team that has them is the Cubs.
Whoa,
And specifically,
talk about that segue.
Yeah, they got
specifically,
something.
they got Javier Baez, and it's too bad that he plays shortstop because obviously Castro right now on the major league level is there. You could obviously move this guy around to third base or the outfield or maybe second, wherever you want to put him, and he projects well. I mean, let's talk about Javier Baez. John, what do you got?
Okay, after looking at just MLB.com and Twitter and Baseball Reference, Javier Baez will not play shortstop. He's kind of coming up. I think he's playing shortstop right now. He's kind of coming up as a shortstop, but
That doesn't mean it. Braun came up at third base.
okay,
How much third base?
he's not going to be a shortstop.
Where do you think he plays?
I mean, I wouldn't be
He's gonna-
surprised if he was, but the
he's-
chances are low.
He's going to go out to the outfield.
Probably.
Castro's had some
Maybe
defensive
third base because
issues.
there's a glaring need at third base for the Cubs.
He's going to play third for a little while.
Buena.
He's going to play. I'm going to think he's going to play third for a little while, and then hopefully, when this money kicks in with the Cubs, they sign somebody, and then he goes to the outfield.
Now they're going to have some money.
His
couple of years.
They have money.
The
That new
scout,
TV contract,
just
though.
on the scouting report on him, his defense is low. His power is super high.
That's might be why you see him in the outfield is that defense. And this kid has power and he has contact, right? I could see him easily hitting 300 or above because that's what he's been doing the whole time in the minors.
He's an offensive player. He's not a shlomo on defense. I don't think he's that bad, but he's definitely not good enough to be a shortstop.
He's not good enough to be shortstop.
I don't know.
Not in the major leagues. Dude, be crushed.
He's okay.
He's crushing. What did he do? He did batting practice and he knocked it out of the park and he broke a fan's windshield and he tweeted about it. He found that fan and he's
it's
like,
like out of a book.
I'll pay for it if I need to. Just don't park there again.
Hey, bro, I'm sorry about your windshield.
Yeah.
I just get paid
Yeah.
$100,000 a year or whatever.
Sorry that I'm going to probably make your team good in a couple of years. I mean, what do you say? He's projected maybe for this year. He was the 9th overall pick in 2011.
MLB
He's not coming out anywhere. He was rated. What was his number one overall prospect?
He was
MLB
number 5.
Number 5 prospect.
Was he number 5 or number 7?
Last year he was number 5.
2013.
This
the
year
number
I think
5
he's
prospect.
still top 10 this year. So that's look. The guy, if he hits well, he's gonna be playing
He's
in
coming.
Cubs
You're
uniform
gonna
in
see him.
June.
You're gonna see him.
If he doesn't hit well, he's still gonna be hitting in Cubs uniform in August or September call-ups.
You're gonna see this guy.
Okay.
He's gonna be a fixture.
Okay, challenge. Name 2 Cubs outfielders.
Challenge.
DeJesus.
Nope. Traded.
What?
Gone.
Exactly.
Realsies? Ruggiano.
Ruggiano and who's that other guy? He's a tall, skinny guy. His name's not Bird.
This took way more time
What's
than it
his name?
should have.
John, you win.
You win,
John,
John.
you win. I thought.
What's that
Who
kid's
did
name?
DeJesus get traded to?
I don't know. He got traded though.
Oh, you know what? I do know about that. He got traded to the Rays late in the season last year. Why didn't I remember that? I don't
Well,
remember
okay,
that.
my point was...
Who's this tall, skinny
my
outfielder
my
guy?
point
He's
was,
good.
it's taken us at least 5 minutes to name 2 Cubs
It's been
outfielders.
like 3 seconds, 5 minutes.
Seriously,
5
though,
minutes.
As far as outfielders go, I couldn't name enough Cubs. They traded 2 of their starting outfielders last season. So what do you want? And they traded their third one in the offseason.
I was thinking of
Exactly.
Junior Lake. Junior Lake.
Junior Lake.
He
okay.
projects well.
Yes, that is the guy. Actually, I think he's kind of garbage, but that's just my opinion.
We'll see. And I don't know. I mean, they've got him. Another guy they got, former top prospect. I think he's dropped a little out of people's opinion. Is Mike Olt, who they got
Future
off the
Mark
Rangers.
Reynolds?
Mike Olt when they traded
Future Mike
Garza.
Reynolds.
For the Cubs, you hope he does a little better than Mark Reynolds. But I mean, even still, he's a major league starter for several years. Mike Olt, power. You're talking power. This is a corner guy who you've got to need definitely at third again, which is why I think Baez might wind up in the outfield. And the Rangers in the past did not want to give him up for some really, I'm sure, tempting offers. Eventually, you saw his average has been lower than you want to see for too long. But
I think he's on the tail end of his prospect degree.
Yeah.
At this point, if he doesn't get called up and does some damage in the next 2 years.
After this coming year, if you don't see him make kind of a jump,
Who knows?
He's no longer a prospect.
He's no longer a
Well,
prospect.
Mike Olt, and I can't really say he's going to have the same trajectory, but another corner infield prospect for the Rangers who didn't do well for a long time was Chris Davis of the Baltimore Orioles. And you saw how that turned out. And you can't count on that kind of turnaround, but I think that Mike Olt has done better than Chris Davis to that point. You can't count him out.
I also think you can't like snicker at like a Chris Davis kind of a thing, because even like 1 year of this Chris Davis hitting 55 home runs or whatever, you just go, whoa. And then he can...
Who knows what he can do?
Who knows what he can do? Even if he doesn't hit 55 home runs, his on-base percentage OPS could be in the 900s. All right.
That's interesting. You know, something...
We would like... I think it's time to appropriately address a question that was posted on
First
our subreddit.
question we got.
The first question we got, which we really appreciate every question we get, and I think it's really important for us to take the first guy who was there, probably by coincidence, but let's just call him a fan.
Cybernetic prosthetics.
Cybernetic prosthetics. He asked, will the Major League Baseball accept cybernetic prosthetics into baseball? I say, at first, they will say no, because baseball is an old boys game. They believe in history, and it's always supposed to be the way it's supposed to be. But just like every other thing sports...
It's taken them 30 years to adopt a replay.
Yeah.
How long do you think it'll take for them to adopt a
between
prosthetic?
Jackie Robinson replay, look, night games.
Night games at Wrigley Field. How long do you think it's going to take?
It took so long for baseball to get on things, but that's one of those things that's really iffy, because there was a gentleman in the Olympics, the Winter Olympics, and also the Summer Olympics, two different people, who
that would have been amazing if it was the same person.
Who had some prosthetic legs.
Who was it in the Winter Olympics?
There was a skier with a prosthetic leg. It was weird because he doesn't have two legs. He just has one cybernetic prosthetic leg.
Huh.
I'm just kidding. I don't know if it's cybernetic, but it's prosthetic.
Cybernetic.
I like saying
cybernetic way more.
No,
than
it's not
prosthetic.
cybernetic. It's just prosthetic.
I'm just kidding.
But
It's just a really awesome piece of plastic. Okay.
I mean, no, they're coming, and you're seeing like some of these. I saw like a hand. You know what I mean? And you're gonna see in the next 20 years, 30 years, whatever it takes, maybe less, that this stuff's gonna be out there. And there are going to be players able to play with it. I mean, there are even, guys who talk about like Tiger Woods, some of the surgeries he's had. I don't know, he had eye surgery, knee surgery. They're starting to call him like a cyborg type guy or whatever. And I think in baseball there's going to be definitely initial resistance. But I mean, what do you get? You get different levels. You get a guy who you accept. Let's say he's got a cybernetic hand, but he's a pitcher and it's his non-throwing hand. Let's say you've got a guy who has...
That I'm not so
Well,
mad
of course,
about.
you're fine with that. But then you get this guy who has a cybernetic hand playing Major League Baseball. You get another guy with a cybernetic hand, same exact thing, but it's his dominant hand. Now do we have a problem? Where do you draw the line? I mean, that's going to
The reason
get
that I would
blurred.
never let a pitcher with a cybernetic prosthetic arm and hand
Well, a lot of it comes
pitch
from the shoulder, too, though.
because there's... Obviously, you're not going to have elbow problems. You're not going to have day-to-day blister problems, okay?
So is that a part of the game? Do you have to get a blister? What if there's a player who never has a blister in their career? I mean,
guess what? That doesn't exist.
Are they kicked out of
baseball's
baseball?
hard.
Okay.
People get blisters every day.
I think you're going to see it. I think you're going to see it out of these guys. And I mean, all right, what about a hitter with a hand?
You get guys who get pulled out of games because they have a hangnail on their non-throwing hand. I mean, look,
what
when you
about
got prosthetics? It's just not fair.
What about a runner with a leg, with one of those like Blade Runner legs that they've got?
I think there's that, like the Olympics have shown, there's a way to...
You can be an Olympian. Why can't you be a baseball player?
Two different entities.
I don't know. I would take the Olympics more seriously than I take steroid-filled baseball.
I don't, because the Olympics, the entire basis of the Olympics is that they get people to watch, and the entire basis of people watching is because they care. They care because of stories. And you guys ever watched the Olympics, because it was just on? Every other 5 minutes, they're talking about this guy, and he was brought up without a father, and he's worked so hard to get where he's gone.
With that downhill skier, his brother just died, a couple of months ago or weeks ago. And then the NBC reporter just went up to him and was just like, "What does winning the bronze mean to you and your family, especially after losing your brother?" Oh man,
Bodie Miller.
Bodie Miller.
Who's like...
He was the American,
He's like the
right?
only
Bodie Miller.
skier I've ever known, like household, anyways.
Yeah.
It was his last run too, I think.
I mean, look, NBC especially. is really, really good at squeezing every last freaking story out of you.
I don't know. It's interesting. I could see it going, a couple different ways. Do you guys want to talk at all about Wrigley, or do you want to call this one?
I think one thing I want to say about Wrigley is, if you're asking me what's going to happen in Wrigley Field, I'm sorry that I cannot help you, because that's politics, man, and I'm a baseball guy. I'm not.
So let's talk about Wrigley right now. We're talking about.
Damn it!
All right. So they want this giant, nice scoreboard, and the rooftop owners are blocking it. Like, there's 2 or 3 guys making noise. Wrigley is a falling apart stadium. It's got a lot of things holding it back with these night games we talked about briefly earlier. You're talking about there's nowhere to park because it's downtown, and a lot of that is the charm of it. With its location.
Charm.
But it's falling apart. And you could go 2 ways. The Red Sox, they took it and they, revamped it, upgraded it, kind of brought it back to life. That's part of why I think Epstein got brought in. Then you go to the Yankees. Now, this is a stadium, Yankee Stadium, with way more history in terms of Babe Ruth played there. All these guys played there. They knocked it down and built a real stadium. And I think that is what the Cubs need to do. Wrigley's hitting all these roadblocks in their location with rooftop owners from the city. Build a new park. What do you guys think? I think build a new park.
Joe, have you ever been to Wrigley Field? I think
yes.
You have.
I peed in a trough. It was weird. It was so weird.
It's weird. I'm going to tell you, I have good memories at Wrigley Field with people. And I think that it should stay. I think it should stay. And
as a landmark, maybe, and then they play in a real stadium?
No, I think they should really play there and to renovate it. And I think they should get their big screen if they want it. What's the big deal? Just because somebody across the street says, oh, please
obviously
don't.
It's causing them issues because they would do it if they just could.
Well, here's the thing. Cubs, they own the field, and if somebody has a problem with them, the Cubs can just threaten to move, and then they'll back down because they're gonna Walmart Armstrong them and be like, well, we'll just move, and they'll be like, shoot, don't move, because if you move, I'm screwed. Because if the Cubs
what good is
move,
my rooftop when this place knocked down?
Yeah, nothing. It will be nothing. So the Wrigley Field has the strong arm on the community.
Well,
And they should, because that community would be nothing without them. Nothing. It would be nothing.
Isn't there no room in that park for even the bullpens? Like they have to do it off the side?
They do it on that's foul territory.
Knock it down.
No, that's history. That's beautiful, man.
That's
to watch what baseball used to be.
John, that's ugly.
No, you should not knock it down. You should.
Do you play baseball in it?
You should invest all the money you can into that place to just kind of build it up.
Renovate it.
Do anything you can.
You're hitting roadblocks. That's their idea.
Okay.
They can't do it.
The Cubs do those outfield, rooftop things. The Cubs make money off of them.
Yeah.
The Cubs get a cut of that dough.
They just want more.
Whatever the problem is, you have to evolve. You have to evolve and just straight up put up a big, huge sign there. I don't care. Just cut out that money.
So you want to get that scoreboard that they want.
Hell
do the scoreboard.
That's what they want too. Scoreboard. They can't do it. That's their roadblocked.
Why can't they do it?
Because the rooftop owners are blocking it. They have a contract with the rooftop owners. They're stopping them from doing it.
No, that contract isn't up until 6 years from now. That's I think that's a huge
threaten to move. They will back down. They don't have a choice but to back down.
Do you guys realize they wanted the scoreboard for 2 years now?
Yeah. Well, money solves all problems. And they have it, and the rooftop owners don't.
No, I think Wrigley Field is important enough to. It's basically you're playing in a museum. Either keep it standing and make a crazy cool museum out of it, and build something else somewhere else.
Somewhere where it makes sense.
Where it makes sense, but
I hate the cookie cutter stadiums that go up every other place. I've been to Wrigley. It's totally different. It's awesome. Every stadium has their own quirks and things that are bad and good about them, and you just got to take it for what it is. I went to Wrigley Field, and I sat there and I just went, man, how many people have played in this stadium? I'm looking at grass that is regrown after 50 years after,
the greats
have played here. The Clementes, for me personally as a Pirates fan, Clemente was here. He played here a lot. And that makes me feel like I'm part of it. It makes me as a fan feel like I'm part of it.
Did that keep the Pirates from doing PNC when it was time?
Well, that's because Three Rivers was a shithole.
You know what else is a shithole?
No.
Can I talk to you about a shithole?
Wrigley Field can renovate the bathroom so you're not peeing in a trough without blinking an eye.
I don't think there's enough money in the world. I mean, I understand the history. I don't mean to piss anybody off. I think it's time. We're gonna talk about this and many other things all in the future. We're not going anywhere anytime soon. And, we just appreciate the feedback. We'd love more. It's a little bit longer issue. And we're just going to call it, Thank you so much for listening.
Please comment.
Yeah. Anybody commenting on Reddit, we love it, good or bad. We always listen to whatever you guys say. Thank you so much for listening.
I used to sit with my dad in the garage. The sawdust, that pine saw in the moss. Around every spring, when the winter thawed, we'd huddle around the radio, twist the broken knob. 7:10 a.m., no KJR. Davey House's voice would echo throughout the yard. Couldn't have been older than 10, but to me and my friends, the voice on the other end might as well have been God's. 1995, the division series, Eggers up to bat, bottom of the 11th inning, got the whole town listening. Swung on and built it.
Stopping it.